Yum, yum!
Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a power button in Plasticity. Start by creating a large circle curve, then press the O key to offset it. Create a line curve from the center of the circle and mirror it with Alt-X. Use the Trim tool to create a U-shaped curve, then add arcs at both ends with the Center Point Arc tool. Use the Trim tool to remove the inner edges. Then create a rectangle curve the same thickness as the main curve and move it into place. Add arcs at both ends and use the Trim tool to remove the inner edges. Select all curves and press J to join them. Create a sphere solid, then scale it to squash it down. Create a line curve through the center of the sphere, then use it as a cutter to cut the sphere. Delete the lower half of the sphere and the line. Move the curves above the solid. Press Shift-I to imprint the curves onto the sphere. Offset these faces, then add fillets to the edges, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a drawing pencil in Plasticity. Start by creating a cylinder, then select the top face, extrude it, and use the white ring handle to taper it. Create a six-sided curve using the regular polygon tool at the other end of the solid. Press C and select the solid to perform a cut, then remove all the outer solids. Create a new line curve and use it to cut the tip of the solid, then adjust the material attributes of the tip. Chamfer these edges, and feel free to lengthen the body of the pencil to your liking and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a fork in Plasticity. Start with a profile curve and a fork silhouette curve. Extrude the profile curve and press Tab to lock distances. Select the sheet, press C to activate the cut tool, then select the fork silhouette curve to use as the cutter. Delete the outer sheet, hide the curves, then thicken the sheet into a solid using the Thicken tool, and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a coffee cup in Plasticity. Start by creating a cylinder, then select and offset the top face using the keyboard shortcut O. Push the face down to create the cup's cavity, then add fillets to all the edges. Create a circle curve on the side of the cup, scale it to create an oval shape, then offset it using the keyboard shortcut O. Extrude the ring face pressing Tab to enable lock distances. Select both solids and perform a Boolean union pressing Q twice. Select and remove the faces on the inside of the cup. Then add fillets to the handle edges, and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a Celtic knot in Plasticity. Start by activating the Center Point Arc tool and create a 180 arc. Create a line at one end of the arc, then mirror it to make a duplicate. Select all three curves and join them using the keyboard shortcut J. Duplicate the curve and rotate it 120 degrees. Move the curve using the Freestyle option to snap it to the point on the curve like so. Mirror the curve to create a third curve, then use the Trim tool to clean up the overhangs. Select all edges and offset them using the keyboard shortcut O. Select the faces that make up the Celtic knot pattern, and then extrude them to make a solid. Hide all the construction curves, then add fillets to all the edges, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling an infinity symbol in Plasticity. Start by creating a circle curve, press Shift-S to subdivide the curve, move the top point down, and the bottom point up to squeeze the center of the curve in. Select the 3 points on the right and rotate them 45 degrees, then select the points on the left and rotate them 45 degrees the opposite direction. Select the curve and press P to create a pipe, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a simple ring in Plasticity. Start by creating a sphere solid using the Sphere tool. Create a curve that runs through the side of the sphere, and duplicate it using the Mirror tool. Create a third curve across the top of the sphere, then select all three curves, press C to activate the Cut tool, and select the sphere as the target. Select the three new solids and remove them using the X key. Then hide the curves using the H key. Select the side face and press O on the keyboard to offset the face. Select the face, press E to activate the Extrude tool, press F for Freestyle, then extrude the face along the X-axis to create a hole. Select all edges and add fillets. Select the top face and press the spacebar to create a temporary construction plane. Activate the text tool and create an asterisk. Press the B key and bevel the points. Move and scale the new face to the center of the ring's top face, then extrude the face. Select both solids and press Q twice to perform a Boolean union. Then add fillets to the new edges, and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a gun cylinder in Plasticity. Start by creating a large circle curve, then create a small circle curve in the center. Create another circle curve and radial array it with a count of 6. Select and extrude this face to create the main cylinder solid. Create a new circle curve and extrude it into the main solid. Activate the sphere tool and create a sphere at the bottom of the cylinder pressing Q for union. Radial array the new solid with a count of 6. Then select the main solid, followed by the other 6 solids, and press Q to subtract them. Create a new line across the bottom, then press C for cut, and select the main solid. Select all the edges, and add fillets and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a threaded bar in Plasticity. Start by creating a cylinder, then create a spiral the same diameter, and increase the turns attribute to your liking. With the curve selected, press P to activate the pipe tool. Press B for a new body. Change the vertex count to 3. Increase the section size, and set the angle attribute to 60. Duplicate the cylinder and scale its diameter. Select the pipe, followed by the duplicated cylinder. Press Q for Boolean, Shift E for intersection, and right-click to commit. Select both solids and press Q twice to perform a Boolean union. Adjust the root of the threading to your liking. Add a chamfer to the crest, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a Phillips screw head in Plasticity. Start by creating a sphere, then use the scale tool to squash it vertically. Create a line through the center of the sphere, press C to activate the cut tool, select the sphere, and right-click to commit, then delete the lower solid. Create a rectangle curve in the center of the solid, then move it above the sphere. Duplicate the rectangle and rotate it 90 degrees. Use the trim tool to remove the inner edges. Select all the curves and press J to join them into a single curve. Select the inner points and press B to bevel them. Duplicate the curve, scale it down, then move it into the sphere. Select both curves and press L to loft them. Then use the patch hole tool to convert the sheet into a solid. Select the sphere followed by the cross, and press Q to perform a Boolean. Select all the edges and add fillets. Then scale the solid to your liking and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a simple gear in Plasticity. Start by creating a circle curve, then use the line tool to create half the profile of a gear tooth. Press Alt-X to use the mirror tool to duplicate the new curve. Then select both curves and press J to join them. Use the radial array tool to create duplicates around the center of the circle curve. Then select the circle curve and offset it using the keyboard shortcut O. Create a new line curve and radial array it to create duplicate curves. Select the interfaces and offset them using the keyboard shortcut O. Select the radial lines and hide them using the keyboard shortcut H. Select all the faces that make up the gear silhouette and extrude them. Then select all edges and add chamfers or fillets and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a simple pillow in Plasticity. Start by creating a wavy 180-degree arc curve, then select every other point on the curve and move it forward. Next, create a 2-segment line curve and bevel the corner point to round it off. Mirror the new curve, then join the 2 curves together. Move the joined curve back, then create a line that connects the 2 curves. Subdivide the line using the keyboard shortcut Alt-1, then move the new point to create an arc. Mirror the new curve, and then snap the end point to the start point of the wavy curve. Select the first 2 curves and press L to activate the loft tool. Shift select the other 2 curves to use them as guides, then right-click to commit. Mirror the sheet and then join the 2 sheets into one. Mirror the sheet again and use the join command again. Select the edge loop around the pillow and duplicate it to create a new curve. Press P to create a pipe, then create a sphere at the origin and flatten it with the scale tool. Make a duplicate for the other side and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at generating knurling and plasticity. For this example, we'll add knurling to this cylinder. Start by creating a line that snaps to the bottom and top edge like so. Press Shift-I to activate the Imprint Curve tool. Select the cylinder and right-click to commit. Select the imprinted edge and duplicate it. Then press the P key to activate the Pipe tool. Change the vertex count to 3, then right-click to commit. Offset the two end faces of the pipe to extend it beyond the height of the cylinder. Mirror the pipe, then snap the duplicate to the center of the original to create an X. Select both pipes and use the radial array tool to create as many duplicates as you'd like. Select the cylinder, followed by all the pipe solids, then press Q for Boolean and perform a Boolean difference. Your knurling is all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a 3-button remote in Plasticity. Start by creating a simple curve and mirror it horizontally and then vertically to create the silhouette of a remote. Press J to join the curves, create 3 circle curves in the middle, then offset them by pressing O on the keyboard. Use the trim tool to remove the overlapping segments, then create a 4th circle on top. Select all of the circle curves and move them off the origin. Then merge all the border curves into a single curve using the keyboard shortcut J. Extrude the main face, create a new curve in the side view, and mirror it to duplicate it. Select the solid followed by the curves, and press C for cut. Then remove the new solids. Hide the curves, and create fillets on top and bottom of the solid to round it off. Select the solid and the circle border curve, press Shift-I for imprint curve, and enable hide occlusion. Offset the new face, then add a fillet to these sharp edges. Select the cavity faces and press Alt-D for alternate duplicate. Then add fillets to the edges of the duplicate. Extrude the 3 circle faces into the main solid. Press Q for Boolean, followed by T for Keep Tools. Hide the curves, then offset the top face of the cylinders to shorten their height. Add fillets to the buttons and to the button cavities. Then use the final circle curve to punch a hole in the main solid. Add fillets to the new hole and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a spray can in Plasticity. Start by creating a simple profile curve. For this example, I'll use the line tool. And then bevel any sharp angles to round them off. Select the bottom points and move them to the height you'd like the can to be. Then use the revolve tool to sweep the profile 360 degrees and create a solid. Create a new line curve and use it to cut the spray cap. Then delete the smaller solid. Create a cylinder and move it into place. Select the main solid, followed by the cylinder, and press Q for Boolean and T for Keep Tools. Then offset the cylinder face to inset it into the new hole. Add fillets to all the edges. Select the main body face and press Shift-D to create a new sheet from it. Use the Thicken Sheet tool to create a solid. Press M to adjust the material attributes, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a ring terminal in Plasticity. Start by creating a circle curve, then press O to offset it and create a smaller inset curve. Create a rectangle curve at the base of the circle, then use the trim tool to remove the overlapping segments. Join the curves, then bevel these points to round off the transition. Extrude the face, then create 2 new circle curves and extrude a pipe solid. Move the pipe into place. Then use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-R to cut the end face of the pipe. Offset the lower face. Then loft these 2 faces to create a bridge between the 2 solids. Hide the curves, then union boolean the 3 solids into 1. Add a fillet to these edges, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a Shuriken in Plasticity. Start by creating an 8-sided curve with the regular polygon tool. Select every other point and scale them in to make a star shape. Extrude the shape, then add a chamfer to the top edges. Mirror the solid, and merge the 2 solids into one with a union boolean. Flatten the solid a little, then use the cylinder tool to cut a hole in the center of the solid. Create a circle curve and mirror it twice to produce 4 curves. Then add the solid to the selection and press C on the keyboard to perform a cut. Delete the 4 new solids and the 4 circle curves. Chamfer the new edges, and then flatten the solid to your liking, and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a T-pipe junction in Plasticity. Start with a cylinder, duplicate it, rotate it 90 degrees, and then move it above the original cylinder. Select the bottom face of the top cylinder, then click the Match Face button followed by the bottom cylinder face. Select both solids and use Union Boolean to create a single solid. Use the Line tool to create a line that matches the intersection of the two pipes, then mirror it. Merge the two new curves, press B to bevel the middle control point, press the O key for offset and the Tab key to offset on both sides of the curve. Commit and delete the middle curve. Select the solid followed by the two curves and press C for cut. Delete the middle solid. Then select the interfaces and press L to loft between the two solids. Select all three solids and Union Boolean them together into a single solid. Select all three end cap faces and use the Hollow a Solid tool to finish off the pipe with some thickness. Change the render mode to have a look at the finished T-pipe and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a chess bishop piece in Plasticity. Start by using the Spline or Control Point Curve tool to create a profile curve in the shape of the chess piece. Then use the Revolve tool to sweep the curve 360 degrees to create a solid. Use the Line tool to create a knot shape. Press B to bevel the points and round off the shape. Then select the solid, followed by the curve, and press C to perform a cut. Delete the notch solid, select the notch boundary edges, and add a fillet, and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a six-sided die in Plasticity. Start with a new scene, select the cube and center it at the origin. By selecting it, pressing G followed by F on the keyboard, and right-click twice. Next, activate the Sphere tool. Press B for new body, and create a sphere in the top corner of one of the faces. Use the Rectangle Array tool to create two duplicates horizontally, then make two duplicate rows vertically. Center all the spheres at the origin, then move them so that they sit centered on one of the faces of the cube. Mirror them to the other side of the cube, then duplicate all 12 spheres and rotate them so that they sit on the top and bottom of the cube. Duplicate and rotate again to finish off the creation and placement of the spheres. Select and remove all the extra spheres from each side of the cube. Then select the cube, followed by all the spheres, and press Q to Boolean subtract the spheres from the cube. Select all the edges and add a fillet to finish off the die, and you're good to go. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a shoe midsole in Plasticity. Start by creating two simple curves, a top view silhouette of a midsole, and a side profile curve with some toe spring. Select the profile curve and extrude it using the keyboard shortcut E, followed by the Tab key to activate lock distances. Shift select the top curve and press C to activate the cut tool. Delete the outer sheet. Select the sheet and extrude it to create a solid. Rotate the top face to give more thickness to the heel. Then offset the top face using the keyboard shortcut O. Push the inner top face down, then create a fillet to round off the inner edge. Add fillets to the other edges, and your base midsole is ready for detailing. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a knife blade in Plasticity. Start by blocking out the shape of the blade using the Line tool. Bevel the lower point to curve the blade. Then extrude the shape to create a solid. Add a chamfer to the top and bottom edges. Before committing, press L on the keyboard and add a limit point to the bottom edge. Press L again and add a limit point to the top edge. Right-click to commit. Then add a fillet to the top edge where the limit point was added. Use the keyboard shortcut Alt-X to mirror the blade, and press Q before committing to union the two solids. Then scale the blade to the thickness of your liking, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling chainmail in Plasticity. Start by creating a circle curve, and then use the Revolve tool to create a torus solid. Next, rotate the solid 15 degrees, then duplicate it, and rotate the duplicate 30 degrees. Move the duplicate torus to offset it from the original, then use the Rectangular Array tool to duplicate the pair horizontally. Use the Rectangular Array tool again to duplicate the pair vertically, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a beveled star in Plasticity. Activate the regular polygon tool and create a 10-sided curve at the origin by holding down the Shift key and using the mouse wheel. Select every other point on the curve, press S for scale, V for pivot, place the scale handle at the origin, and then scale the points in to make a star. Extrude the star, and taper it to a point, and you're all set. Oh. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling braids in Plasticity. Start by creating a curve with 9 control points in the shape of an S. Select the 2nd and 6th point on the curve and move it down. Then the 4th and 8th point and move it up to create an infinity shape. Use the rectangular array to make duplicates of the curve. And make sure the endpoints share the same location by snapping them to each other. Join all the curves into a single curve, then press P on the keyboard to activate the pipe tool. Increase the section size to your liking and commit. Make 2 duplicates and move them into place, and you're all set. Add this simple process to your toolkit to generate braids. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a pentagonal trapehedron in Plasticity. Start by creating a pentagon with the regular polygon tool. Extrude the face and taper it to a point, then delete the curve. Center the solid at the origin, then mirror it. Center the new solid at the origin, and rotate it 35 degrees around the z-axis. Move the solid so that the tips line up, then press Q for Boolean, followed by Shift-E for intersect. Right-click to commit, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a dodecahedron from a cube in Plasticity. Start with the new scene and move the default cube to the origin. By pressing the G key on the keyboard to activate the Move tool, press F for Freestyle and right-click twice. Create a 2-segment line in the shape of a V with a 30-degree angle that snaps to the top and middle of one side of the cube. Mirror the new curve vertically, then mirror both curves horizontally to create 4 curves. Select the cube, followed by the curves, and press C to cut the cube with the curves. Then delete the 4 corner solids. Rotate the 4 curves 90 degrees with the pivot at the origin, then rotate it 90 degrees around the z-axis. Cut the cube with the curves and delete the corner solids. Rotate the 4 curves again 90 degrees with the pivot at the origin, then rotate it 90 degrees around the y-axis. Cut the cube with the curves and delete the corner solids. Then simply delete the curves, and your dodecahedron is ready to go. Floyd here with a quick look at creating an octahedron in Plasticity. Start by using the line tool to create 2 triangles that use the center of 3 connected faces on the default cube for their points. Select all curves and use the patch holes command to create sheets for each triangle. Use radial array with the number attribute set to 4 to duplicate the triangles. Then press J on the keyboard to join all sheets to make a solid, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a tetrahedron from a cube in Plasticity. Start with the new scene. Use the line tool to create diagonal lines through each face. Then select the cube followed by the curves, and use the keyboard shortcut Shift-I to activate the Imprint Curve tool. Set the method attribute to normal, then right-click to commit. Delete the curves, then delete the 3 faces that make up each corner using the keyboard shortcut Shift-X, and use patch holes to cap the open edges. Hidden in the center of the cube will be a tetrahedron. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a tetrahedron in Plasticity. Start by creating a triangle with the regular polygon tool. Duplicate it using Shift-D, then rotate the duplicate 180 degrees, setting the pivot to the edge of the triangle. Duplicate and rotate the duplicate again, then use the mirror tool to create a 4th triangle. Rotate the 3 outer triangles 109.5 degrees to make a pyramid. If all the points aren't green, hold Ctrl and snap them in place. Select all the curves and use the patch holes command to create 4 sheets. Join the sheets to make a solid, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating an icosahedron from a cube in Plasticity. Start with the new scene and move the default cube to the origin. By pressing the G key on the keyboard to activate the Move tool, press F for Freestyle and right-click twice. Create a 2-segment line in the shape of a V with a 21-degree angle that snaps to the top and middle of one side of the cube. Mirror the new curve vertically, then mirror both curves horizontally to create 4 curves. Select the cube, followed by the curves, and press C to cut the cube with the curves. Then delete the 4 corner solids. Rotate the 4 curves 90 degrees with the pivot at the origin, then rotate it 90 degrees around the z-axis. Cut the cube with the curves and delete the corner solids. Rotate the 4 curves 90 degrees with the pivot at the origin, then rotate it 90 degrees around the y-axis. Cut the cube again with the curves and delete the corner solids. Use the line tool to create a triangle with each point snapping to the point on the main solid like so. Mirror the triangle curve horizontally, then mirror both tries vertically. Mirror all 4 tries to create a total of 8 triangles. Then use the imprint curve feature, with the method set to normal, to slice the tries onto the main solid. Select these 3 faces and use the keyboard shortcut Shift-X to remove them. Then select the solid and use the patch holes command to create a face. Repeat this process for each of the remaining 7 3-face pyramid topology until you have a finished icosahedron. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a hinged box in Plasticity. Start by creating a line that runs through the center of the default cube. Select the cube in the line, press C on the keyboard, then right-click to cut the cube into 2 solids. Use the center circle tool to create a circle curve on one side of the 2 solids. Press O on the keyboard to offset the curve and create a smaller circle curve, then move it off to the side. Extrude the larger curve the length of the 2 solids. Use the keyboard shortcut Shift-D to duplicate the cylinder, then scale the length. Select the bottom cube followed by the larger cylinder, then press Q for Boolean, followed by T to keep the tools, and right-click to commit. Select the top cube followed by the larger cylinder, then press Q twice to perform a union Boolean, and right-click to commit. Select the top solid, followed by the smaller cylinder, press Q for Boolean, followed by T on the keyboard to keep the tools, and right-click to commit. Select the bottom solid, followed by the smaller cylinder, press Q twice for union Boolean, and right-click to commit. Select the small circle curve and extrude it. Select the top solid, followed by the cylinder, press Q for Boolean, followed by T to keep the tools, and right-click to commit. Select the bottom solid, followed by the cylinder, press Q for Boolean, and right-click to commit. Select the top solid and rotate it at the hinge 90 degrees. Select the inside faces of the 2 solids and offset them. Then push them in to create the inner walls of the box. Select all the edges, generate a fillet, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a bike chain in Plasticity. Start by using the center circle tool to create 2 circle curves, then duplicate them and move them to the side. Activate the 3-point circle tool and create a new circle that snaps to the bottom of the outer circle curves. Mirror the new circle using the keyboard shortcut Alt-X. Select the faces that make up the link shape and extrude it to create a solid. Make 2 copies of the solid, move them in place, and then move them off to the side. Use one of the small circle curves to generate a cylinder. Duplicate it and move it to the first hole in the link. To create the chain path, create 2 circle curves and connect them with 2 line curves. Select the 3 faces, duplicate them, and delete the other curves. Select all the solids. Press F on the keyboard and type curve. Click Curve Array and select the curve as the path. Hold down the Shift key and use the mouse wheel to increase the number of duplicates. And you're all set. Floyd here with a quick tip for creating a ribbed hose in Plasticity. Start with a sphere and a curve. Scale the sphere into a squashed lintel shape. Then press F on the keyboard and type Array. Click on Curve Array. Select the curve as the path, and press and hold the Shift key while using the mouse wheel to increase the number of duplicates. Right-click to commit, then press Q twice to perform a union Boolean on all the solids. Select all the edges and add a fillet. Press M to assign a material, adjust its attributes, and click OK. Use this simple process to create a ribbed hose. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a Y-shaped pipe in Plasticity. Start by creating a 180 arc using the center point arc tool. Then use the split curve tool to add a point in the center of the curve and add a point in the middle of each side of the curve. Move the curve off the origin and extrude it. Use the radial array tool to create 3 copies around the origin. Use the loft command to bridge the 3 sides together. Then select all sheets and join them using the keyboard shortcut J. Select the edges that make up the top hole and use the patch holes tool to close it off, with the fill preference set to smooth. Use the keyboard shortcut Alt-X to mirror the sheet, then join the 2 sheets into one. Use the Thicken Sheet tool to give the pipe some thickness, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a Y-shaped pipe in Plasticity. Start by creating a 180 arc using the center point arc tool. Then use the split curve tool to add a point to the center of the curve. Move the curve off the origin, and then extrude it. Use the radial array tool to create 3 copies around the origin. Use the loft command to bridge the 3 sides together. Then select all sheets and join them using the keyboard shortcut J. Select all 3 edges on top and use the patch holes tool to close it off. Use the keyboard shortcut Alt-X to mirror the sheet, then join the 2 sheets into one. Use the thicken sheet tool to give the pipe some thickness, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a Mel Clevis in Plasticity. Start by activating the center point arc tool and create an arc. Then activate the line tool and snap the start of the line to the end of the arc and create a 2-segment line like so. Select both curves and press J to join them into a single curve. Activate the revolve tool and revolve the curve to create a solid body. Create a new 2-segment line, then use the keyboard shortcut Alt-X to duplicate the line with the mirror tool. Press C on the keyboard to activate the cut tool. Select the solid, then shift select the 2 lines and right-click to commit. Delete the 2 side solids in the curves, then create a new cylinder and use it to cut a hole in the main solid. Select these edges and add a small fillet. Remove these 2 stray edges and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick tip for creating a rounded star in Plasticity. To create a rounded star, activate the regular polygon tool, left-click and drag to set the size, then hold Shift and use the mouse wheel to increase the control points to 10. Select every other control point, then press S twice to scale the selected points in to produce a star shape. Select all the points, then press B and bevel the points to round off the star to your liking, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating grid webbing detail in Plasticity. Start by selecting the face you'd like to add grid webbing detail to. Press the spacebar to create a temporary construction plane and align the view to it. Select the face and use the keyboard shortcut Shift-D to create a curve. Hide the solid, then use the line tool to create a triangle pattern through the rectangle. Select all the triangles, press O to offset them, right-click to commit, and then press B to bevel the control points. Unhide the solid, select the triangles, click the Select Target Bodies Extrude attribute, followed by clicking the solid, and extrude into the solid. Right-click to commit, then delete or hide the curves. Select all the border edges of the triangles, and add a chamfer, and you're all set. Use this simple process to add grid webbing detail to your assets. Floyd here with a quick tip for creating a picture frame in Plasticity. Start by creating a rectangle curve, then press 1 on the keyboard to switch to the front orthographic view. Activate the line tool and create a closed shape. We can use this as the profile for the picture frame. With the profile curve selected, click the sweep icon in the lower right corner of the UI, or use the keyboard shortcut Shift-P. Select the rectangle curve, and you're all set. Experiment with different profile curves for an endless variety of frames. Floyd here with a quick tip for creating an inset screw tool in Plasticity. Start by creating a simple cylinder primitive, select the top face, and press the spacebar to create a temporary construction plane. Activate the center rectangle tool and create a thin rectangle. Reset the construction plane, then extrude the rectangle, press W for difference, click the cylinder as the target body, and right-click to commit. Select the bottom edge of the cylinder and press Shift-D to create a new curve. Press S on the keyboard twice to use uniform scale and scale the diameter of the new curve slightly larger than the cylinder. Extrude the new circle curve, then shift-click the other solid, press Q, and right-click to subtract the first solid from the new cylinder. Create a new cube solid, then duplicate the cylinder using the keyboard shortcut Shift-D and move it to intersect with the cube like so. Select the cube, press Q for Boolean, then select the cylinder and right-click to commit. Use the original cylinder anytime you need to add an inset screw and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a tennis ball in Plasticity. Start by creating a rectangle curve using the corner rectangle tool. Then activate the center point arc tool and create a 180 arc at the end of the rectangle. Use the trim tool to remove the segment between the 2 shapes, then select both curves and use the keyboard shortcut J to join the curves into a single curve. Next, create a sphere solid with the diameter larger than the height of the curve, like so. Press Shift-I on the keyboard to activate the Imprint Curve tool. Select the curve and right-click to commit. Next, select the imprinted curve, press O to activate Offset, then press the Tab key to enable lock distances to generate a curve on each side. Right-click to commit. Select the center edge loop and press X to remove the selection. Select and offset the new face, then create fillets on the border edge loops, and you're all set. Use this simple method to generate a tennis ball seam or similar details such as curved panel seams on your assets. Floyd here with a quick look at creating a paperclip in Plasticity. Create a straight curve using the Line tool, then activate the 3-point arc tool and create an arc starting at the end of the first curve. Repeat this process to create the additional curves that make up the paperclip shape using the Line and 3-point arc tool. Once all curves have been created, select all of them and use the keyboard shortcut J to join them into a single curve. Select the curve and press P on the keyboard to activate the pipe tool. Adjust the section size attribute to your liking and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at using the Trim tool to create the Apple logo in Plasticity. For this example, I created 11 intersecting circle curves using the Center Circle tool. All that's left to do is activate the Trim tool and click on the portions of the curve I'd like to remove or trim away. Those familiar with Adobe Illustrator's Shape Builder tool should feel right at home, as it's a very similar approach to building custom shapes from multiple curves. Once all the unneeded curves have been trimmed, simply select the two portions of the logo and extrude them. Next, select all the construction items and delete them to clean things up and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a hex bolt head in Plasticity. Start by activating the Center Circle tool and create a circle curve. Next, activate the Regular Polygon tool. Press and hold the Shift key and use the mouse wheel to create a 6-sided polygon the same size as the circle. Hide the hexagon curve, then select the circle face and extrude it to generate a solid. Select the top edge and create a fillet. Unhide the hexagon curve and select it. Press the C key on the keyboard, then select the solid to cut it and right-click to commit. Select all of the outer solids and delete them. Hide the curves to save them for later, or simply delete them and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at creating 4 interlocking loops in Plasticity. Start with a new scene and use the Line tool to create a triangle curve that snaps to the midpoints of the cube's edges like so. Repeat this process 3 more times using the midpoint edge snapping shown here. Once you have 4 triangle curves in place, select each curve, press P to activate the pipe tool, and change the section size attribute to 0.075. Use this simple process to generate 4 symmetrically clustered loops. Floyd here with a quick look at creating Borromean rings in Plasticity. Start by creating a square curve, add a 180 arc curve to one side, mirror it to duplicate it, trim the inner segments, then join the remaining curves into a single curve. Press P to create a pipe solid. Duplicate and rotate the new solid like so. Duplicate the solid again and rotate the new solid into place. Select all faces and offset them to increase their diameter to your liking, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a twisted ring in Plasticity. Start by creating a large circle curve, then create a smaller circle curve in the front view. Duplicate it twice to produce a total of 3 curves in a triangle formation. Move them over to the original curve, then use the Sweep tool and enter 2080 for the twist attribute. Hide the curves and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a half-twisted ring in Plasticity. Start by creating a 180 arc curve, mirror it, then create a square curve. Sweep the square curve with the top arc and use a twist of 360. Then sweep the rectangle curve with the bottom arc with no twist. Create a line curve and mirror it twice to create 4 curves. Use them to cut the 2 sheets, then remove the 4 end sheets. Use the Bridge Curve tool to create 4 new curves that are tangent to the end edges of the sheets. Loft them to create 4 new sheets, then join the sheets and patch the ends. Use the faces at the end of the top and bottom solids to cut the middle solid and remove the smaller overhang solids. Boolean union the 3 solids. Then repeat the steps for the other side to complete the ring, and you're all set. Floyd here with a quick look at modeling a lipstick asset in Plasticity. Start by creating a 6-sided curve with the Regular Polygon tool. Then extrude it to create a solid. Create a cylinder solid, then offset the top face and push it in to create a cavity. With the face still selected, press Shift-D to create a sheet, then thicken it to make it a solid. Add a fillet to the top edge, and shift-click the side face to make it a hemisphere. Scale the top to make it a bullet shape. Then create a line curve and use it to cut the solid. Then remove the smaller part. Add a fillet to this edge. Adjust the material attribute to change the color of the solid. Then create a new line curve and cut the base into 2 solids. Add fillets to all edges. Adjust the material attribute to change the color of the lower solid, and you're good to go. Oh, look at the time.